Alrighty, welcome back, folks, and we're going to take a quick look now as we move on to the ECHL's Southern Division. In my opinion, the most competitive of the four ECHL divisions, and as they stand as of today, the 21st of March, 2023, what the playoff matchups would look like if the season ended today. Once again, going over this on all of my videos here today. The playoff format is the 1 versus 4 team. So as it stands as of right now, that's the South Carolina Stingrays would play the Florida Everblades, and then the Jacksonville Icemen, that would be 2 versus 3, 1-4, 2-3, and then the winners of those two teams or two series, would then play one another. And then, of course, the winner of the South Division versus the winner of the North Division, and it'll be those postseason series, would then play one another in the Eastern Conference, and then that, of course, winner would play the winner of the Central versus Mountain, which again would come after the 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. Those two winners play each other for the quote-unquote postseason division championship. That is how the ECHL's Kelly Cup playoffs are formatted as of right now. Very, very competitive in the Southern Division. As I mentioned, 21 points separating first from last, and if you take Savannah out of things, there's only 11 points separating South Carolina and then Orlando in sixth place. A very light schedule for a lot of these Southern Division teams. I was taking a look at that. We're going to go over the schedules for each of the Southern Division teams as we get the updated standings here as well. But again, a very, very light schedule coming up this week for most of these Southern Division teams. So we'll start with Jacksonville because that's who was in first place at the time that we left off with you. The Icemen unfortunately lost 2 more games last week, and then the Florida Everblades, now with 33 wins, still they lose their 18th game, and then still 4 overtime losses, 4 shootout losses. So because of that 18th loss, that drops that magic number down to 13 there. Greenville got their 34th win of the year, dropping Savannah's elimination number down to 2, Orlando down to 6, Atlanta down to 8, and South Carolina down to 12. But of course, South Carolina leapfrogged all of these teams into first place in the division as the Stingrays got 2 more points, dropping Savannah down to 1, Orlando down to 5, and Atlanta down to 7. So South Carolina sitting now at 36-24-1. And then Atlanta got their 32nd win of the year, dropping Savannah's elimination number down to 5 there, Orlando down to 9. And then Orlando still 29-26 now. They lose one more time, dropping that elimination number down to 5, down to 6 there, 5 there, and 4 there, and then 8 there. But 4 is their playoff elimination number. And then 29th loss for Savannah, dropping that number down to 1, 2, 1, and eliminating them from being able to win the division. So the Ghost Pirates will not debut and win the division. It looks like of the 3 teams that have debuted in these past 2 years, with Tualatin and Iowa coming in the league at the same time, it looks like the Lions are going to be the only team that is going to be a qualifier for the postseason in either of their first 2 seasons because of Iowa and Tualatin. We'll see next season for Savannah. So we will update our standings here. And as I mentioned, South Carolina takes over the lead in the division. And then we have Greenville coming up next. And then Jacksonville. Get things updated here as well. South Carolina will step out of line there. And it is still Savannah, Orlando, Atlanta, and now Florida. 13, and Greenville sitting at 12 for the Icemen. And again, eliminate South Carolina here. Be Savannah, Orlando, Atlanta, and then Florida for the Swamp Rabbits. And then we can eliminate South Carolina here. And then below Florida will be Savannah, Orlando, and Atlanta. So we will check our magic numbers here as the South Carolina Stingrays scheduled this week. They will host Maine on Saturday and Sunday, so the Stingrays 11 games left on their season, but they only have 2 games this week. The Stingrays magic number to eliminate Orlando is 4. And we can check their tiebreaker as well because they are plus 12 on Orlando. That elimination number is actually going to be down to 3 by virtue of their tiebreaker because they have 31 regulation wins and the Solar Bears only have 19 because they are plus 12 in that category. They do have a significant head-to-head tiebreaker or a tiebreaker by virtue of those regulation wins. That's why we dropped 1 number off of that elimination number for the Stingrays there. So their magic number to eliminate Orlando is 7. That number is accurate. For Florida, that number is 12. And again, we're going to see a lot of these magic numbers are going to be numbers that are higher than the team has left to play. That is because Florida has the most games left to play out of anybody in the Southern Division. They still have 13 games left to play, so that's why their magic number is going to be higher than the number of games they have remaining on their schedule, is because of the teams below them having more games in hand on them. So that magic number 13 there for Greenville, it is 11. And then for Jacksonville, that number is 11 as well. So for the Stingrays, again, just 2 games this week. They can eliminate both Orlando with 3 games, or with 2 games, excuse me, this week. So Orlando can be eliminated from the postseason. Atlanta, since Atlanta only has the 1 game this week, South Carolina will not be able to clinch a playoff berth this week. And we shall move on to the Jacksonville Icemen. Jacksonville with 36 wins on the year, 21 regulation losses. They're in a little bit of a slump right now after going 0-4 last week. The Icemen this week will play just 2 games. Thursday night they will visit Savannah, and then on they will host Savannah. They will host Savannah on Thursday before traveling to Orlando on Saturday. So just a 2-game week for the Icemen. Their magic number is 1 to eliminate Savannah, and again, by virtue of since they still only have 9 more regulation victories over Savannah, they have not eliminated the Ghost Pirates just yet. Their elimination number is 5, or their magic number is 5 to eliminate Orlando. For Atlanta, that magic number is 8. For the Icemen to eliminate the Gladiators. Their magic number is still sitting at 13, I believe. And it is 13 to eliminate Florida. And again, the reason why that one is the case is because of Florida having games in hand on them. Their magic number to eliminate Greenville is 12. So for the Icemen, magic number to clinch a playoff spot, that number is 8. Currently for Orlando, or for Jacksonville, that magic number is 8. For the Icemen, as I mentioned, just 2 games this week. Comparing that to Atlanta, who has just 1 game, so the magic, the most that they can chop off the magic numbers at all for the playoffs is 3. The magic number 5 for Orlando, and again with the Icemen just having 2 games and Orlando playing 2 games as well. They would not even be able to eliminate the Solar Bears from playoff contention this week as well. So we will move on to the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Greenville with a little bit harder of a schedule this week as they start their week in Friday night in Indianapolis as they take on the Fuel, and then on Saturday and Sunday they will head up to Toledo, Ohio to take on the Walleye. Magic number for Greenville is 1 to eliminate Savannah. They are +9 in the tiebreakers there, but with Savannah having 10 games left on their slate, they will not be able to eliminate, or cannot do it right now. They would be able to do that later this week. Magic number 5 to eliminate Orlando. That is accurate. It is 8 to eliminate Atlanta. And for Florida, that magic number is 15 to eliminate Florida. But again, that's just because Florida has 2 games in hand on Greenville, as well as the rest of the division leaders ahead of them. So for the Swamp Rabbits, again, with their 3 games being played, they will not be able to eliminate Orlando, especially since Orlando's they're +5 on Orlando in terms of tiebreakers. So if they were able to win all 3 of their games in regulation, they would be +8 there. So by virtue of that, I think it would be close. With their 3 wins and their 2 losses, they actually could eliminate Orlando, but they would not be able to eliminate Atlanta because Atlanta has 28 regulation victories on the season. So they would not be able to eliminate Atlanta, but they would be able to eliminate Orlando if they won out and then Orlando lost out in regulation. And of course, the Swamp Rabbits would have to win out in regulation as well to extend that tiebreaker to be able to eliminate the Solar Bears from being able to finish 3rd in the division. For the Everblades, their magic number, they're currently sitting in 4th place in the division. Florida's scheduled this week. They are hosting Newfoundland on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So 3 games against the North Division leader in Estero, Florida for the Florida Everblades there. So the Everblades magic number right now, that magic number is 2 to eliminate Savannah. That is accurate there. 6 to eliminate Orlando is accurate. And then 9 to eliminate the Atlanta Gladiators. Those numbers are all accurate for the Everblades with their 3 games, with Savannah just playing once, but with Florida's 3 games that they're playing, Florida would be able to eliminate Savannah. So it is possible this week that even though Savannah plays just that 1 game in Jacksonville on Thursday, it is possible that the Ghost Pirates would be eliminated from playoff contention this week, with Orlando playing 2 games. Florida is +10 on Orlando, and Orlando only has 9 games, so we are going to go ahead and take that one off. In terms of the tiebreaker, so that magic number is now down to 5 for the Solar Bears. So it is possible with Orlando playing twice and Florida playing 3 times for Orlando to be eliminated from playoff competition this week. And then Atlanta's magic number is 9. Atlanta plays just 1 game, and then the Everblades have 3, so they would be able to pick up 4 games. And then in addition to their tiebreaker, which Atlanta has 10 games left, so because they don't have enough there, that magic number is still going to be sitting at 9 for Orlando, or for Florida, to eliminate the Gladiators. Heading on down the list, just south of the playoff line, right now is the Atlanta Gladiators, 4 points back of Florida. But Florida currently has 4 games in hand on the Gladiators. That's something that's got to be concerning for the Glads there. The fact that they're 6 points back of Greenville and have played 2 more games than anybody else that's above the playoff line right now. That just has me leading to believe that the Southern playoffs are very, very close to being set. I know that the points are very, very close, and this is going to go down to the last probably week of the season is going to go down to whether or not these teams are eliminated or not. It looks like Savannah's going to be eliminated this week, potentially, but it's very, very possible that we could be, on April 10th before we have any idea as to who's actually going to be making the playoffs in the Southern Division. So Atlanta, their magic number is 4 for them to eliminate the Savannah Ghost Pirates. That number is accurate, excuse me. And then that number is 8 for them to eliminate Orlando. That number is accurate as well. And then by virtue of they are plus 13 on Savannah, so we can eliminate drop Savannah's elimination number down by 1. That is down to 3 by virtue of that tiebreaker. Since they are plus 9 on Orlando, and with Orlando having 9 games left, unfortunately we can't drop that down quite yet on that one. But the Gladiators, again, hosting Maine on Friday, is their only game of this week. And then Orlando has light schedule as well. The Solar Bears will host Maine on Wednesday, and then Jacksonville on Friday. They play just 2 games. Their magic number to eliminate the Ghost Pirates is 6. And actually have to go back here really quickly. Newfoundland, 9 overtime wins. Worcester with 5, Reading with 4, and then 2 and then 1. Jacksonville still with 11 overtime wins. Greenville has 8. Orlando with 8. And then Florida and South Carolina both have 4. That is the same as it was in Atlanta, and Savannah still have 3 in terms of shootout wins. 5 from the Ghost Pirates so far this year, and then Greenville and Orlando both have 2. And then South Carolina, Jacksonville, and Atlanta all have 1, and then Florida, the only team in the South that has not won a game in a shootout this year. But that is how the standings sit in the Southern Division. Again, as the playoffs are set right now, it would be the South Carolina Stingrays and the Florida Everblades in the first round, and then we would also have Jacksonville taking on Greenville in the first round. Those would be ridiculously entertaining games, or entertaining series, I should say. And then, again, finally going to wrap up our schedules for the week. Savannah, very, very light schedule for the Ghost Pirates, playing just that 1 game, traveling to Jacksonville on Thursday. But that is how the ECHL Southern Division looks as of today, March 21st. And we will move right along, and I hope you give my next video a watch as well. That's going to be going over the ECHL's Mountain Division.